Hi, I'm Gene with HazardCall, and I want to thank you for joining this onboard training. This is part of a video series that's available at our website, hazardcall.com/resources. And this video will take you through the complete onboard training for using HazardCall. You may be watching this for the very first time, or you may be coming back to review things that you learned during your onboard training, your online training that you had with me or someone else in the HazardCall staff. We also have these videos available in segments, so you don't have to watch the entire video. Maybe just go back and get the parts that you need a refresher on. Well, first I want to show you what you're going to need for this training. You're going to need a smartphone to install the HazardCall app. You're going to need your HazardCall account login, username, and password. If you don't know it, please ask your sales rep or call our customer service at info@hazardcall.com. So the other thing that you'll need is your computer, of course, with the Chrome or Firefox browser as the preferred browser. We do work with Edge, Microsoft Edge, but it is better, the experience is better if you're using Chrome or Firefox. Well, first I want to go over the training agenda, what we're going to go over during this online training. It consists of 4 elements: an overview of HazardCall. We'll show you how to manage your account and some best practices around that. We'll help you put the app on your phone, and then you'll see some real-time examples of some of the messages that we'll send you when weather is impacting your community. First, I want to have an overview of HazardCall. Many of you are familiar with what HazardCall does, but if not, just a reminder that HazardCall is a 2-part solution for manufactured housing managers or owners. It has an instant messaging platform that lets you send messages to residents 24/7, and we will send them weather alerts 24/7. It's an automatic weather monitoring that we do in the background. You don't have to do anything to make that work. We'll taken care of that, but you have full control over the messages that you will send to residents. And here are some examples of the kind of messages that we're talking about. On the left is a great example of what I consider to be great customer service. The manager let the residents know that the repair for the water was going to take longer than they anticipated. Up at the top, there's a problem preventing folks from getting in and out of the community. And then at the bottom, a boil water notice that went out. And then on the right, something fun. There's something fun going on in your community, some community activity. These are the kinds of messages that you can send out with HazardCall, and we encourage you to do that. However, I also want to caution you to send the messages judiciously, only when you really need to, because if you send too many messages, your residents will tune out. But you do want them to know that when they get a message from you, it is something important and something that they should definitely read. Now, when it comes to the weather, we do something a little bit different than probably anything else you've ever seen. I live in Fulton County, which is the red highlighted county on the left-hand side of the screen. And whether there is a weather threat that's coming to the top pin drop of the county or the bottom pin drop of the county, most smartphones, most weather radios, and outdoor sirens assume that the threat applies to the entire county. Now, that's really not the case. In most cases, the actual warning is what you see on the right, a small red box. And it really only matters if you're in that box as to whether or not you need to be paying attention to that weather threat. So if you're at the top pin drop, you really wouldn't care about a threat that's at the bottom pin drop location. So with HazardCall, we only alert for threats that are coming to your exact community's location. And when we do that, we'll send a text and an email with a visual so that you can understand what the threat is. We'll also highlight the recommended safety action, because unfortunately in the weather world we use the same 2 letters to begin 2 different words that mean entirely 2 different things, and that is a watch and a warning. They both begin with WA, but they both mean 2 very different things. And so we help your residents understand what it is we're sending them, and they get the complete warning information from the National Weather Service so they can read all about it for themselves. Now, if the threat is life-threatening, if what we're monitoring is a life-threatening weather condition, then we will call your residents, and they will receive a pre-recorded phone call in either English or Spanish for any of the 5 conditions you see on the screen. So if it is a confirmed tornado, widespread tornado outbreak expected, 70-mile-an-hour winds and or golf ball or larger size hail, confirmed flash flooding, or if hurricane force winds are imminent, then they will receive a phone call from HazardCall letting them know that. Well, now we'll talk about managing your account. And in this section, there are 5 subsections that each have their own videos, so you can watch those as well. We're going to help you log into your account. We're going to show you how to add and remove residents, how to create lists so that you can send messages to certain resident groups. We'll show you how to use the text library, which is a preset bunch of messages that you can use on the fly, so you don't have to type them all out each time. And we'll help you in general know how to send out broadcast messages. In order to log in, you'll have to open up a browser on your computer and go to hazardcall.com and then look for the login words at the top of the screen. Once you click on that, you will then want to click on the management login box. And after that, you will see this screen where you'll enter the username and password that we gave you for your account. Once you do that, you should see a map of your location, and underneath that is a series of green bars. Now, the one you're going to click on the most often is the Add Manage Residents. So go ahead and click on that, and when you do, you'll see a list of residents. Now, of course, this is a sample account, so we just have some made-up names and phone numbers in here, but you would see your actual resident list in there. If you want to add a new resident, click on Add New Resident, because it could be that after you gave us the resident list, you need to add some people in. That's perfectly fine. So click on Add New Resident and fill in their name, first name, last name. You must have the phone number and the email address. The phone number needs to be entered as a 10-digit number, no spaces, no parentheses, no dashes. Well, after you hit Next to confirm this information, you will need to check the Send Welcome Message box. It's important that you do this because when you do that, we actually add the resident to the system and they receive what's called the welcome message. It's a text message inviting them to download the app. Remember, they don't have to download the app, but the mere fact that we have added them into the system makes sure that they're going to get all the information that they need to get. You'll also notice that you can sort the residents by any number of ways: the unit number, the location number, location definition rather, the last name, the first name, the phone number, and the emails. You can sort them to quickly find residents as you need to. If at any time you make a change but you don't see it right away, you can put a period in the last name search box and that will refresh the list. Also, you can see the contents of any particular resident by clicking on them, and it'll show you all the fields that are available. You see their name, their phone number, their email address, and so forth. So if anything changes, you need to edit it here and then hit the update button. Also, if someone moves out and they're no longer a resident, you need to click the delete button to remove them from the system. That way they won't keep getting messages even after they have moved out. And notice you can also, down at the bottom there, send text message. You can send a text message specifically to that resident if needed. So the best practice here is that you want to add HazardCall to your move-in, move-out process. You probably have some kind of process where people move in and when they move out. So just make sure that you add a step there to add them manually into the HazardCall system and remove them if they are moving out. Now, there will be a number of people, a very small number of people, who tell you as the manager, hey, look, I don't want to get these messages. That's fine. We have an opt-out form, which is also available on our resources page. You can download that, print it. They sign it, you keep it, but then you go into the system and delete them. So if someone is there and they don't want to get the messages, that's fine. You can remove them. However, what we have noticed lately is the FOMO effect, fear of missing out. So someone says they want to be removed, but then when you send an important message about water outage or something else and they don't get it, they're going to wonder why. And then they'll realize, oh, that's what this is for. This is for really important stuff. It's not just because they're trying to collect information on me. So again, there's a very small fraction of your residents that will be suspicious of this service, but after a while, they will come to appreciate the value of it, and they will be glad that you added it to your bunch of services that you provide for them. Okay, so now we'll go over how to send a community broadcast. Now here, you're going to click on the green box that says Community Broadcast to Residents. And in this case, you'll send it to all residents. In just a little bit, we'll show you how you can add lists and you can choose which list you want to send to. But if you don't have any lists created, you will send the message to all residents. This screen then appears, and in the box on the left is where you would type in your message. Now, we pre-fill the message with the words important info because, you know, you get a lot of text messages all day long, right? You ignore a lot of them. If we start it with the words important info, there's a good chance they might actually read it, and we want them to do that. So you just put in some text after the important info part. In this example, we're putting in "this is a test," and then you click on the send message button. Now, the message will go out if the time you send it is between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. in your time zone. If it is after that time, it will only go out if you check the emergency message checkbox, okay? So it's important to know that if it's 2 in the morning and you really need to send a message out about a water outage or some other problem, you need to check that box to make sure it will go out. If you don't check that box and it's 2 in the morning, it won't go out until 8 a.m. the next day. Well, now let's talk about creating lists. And this is a way for you to break up your community in a way that makes sense to you. You can organize residents for targeted messaging by using the lists. So you can organize them by the street they live on, the section of the community, whether they're on a landline, or if they have special needs, or if they're a family, or whatever. You know your community best, and you know the best way to break it up. But one way to think about it is if there's a water outage that's only on Elm Street, you only really need to message the people on Elm Street as opposed to the entire community. So to do this, you go to the last green box in the second row that's labeled Manage Broadcast Lists. You click on that, and then we're going to create a new list. Let's say we're going to give this list the name Office, and we're going to put Mary and John Smith into the Office group. So we give the list a name, and then we go down and we check the names, or check the boxes next to the names of the people we want to add to the list. Once we do that, you'll notice that they are now moved up into the list with the blue check mark. Once you have added all the people you want to add into the list, click on Submit List. Now, you can send a community broadcast to just that list. Click on Community Broadcast to Residents, and now you'll notice that the list Office appears, whereas in a prior example, it wasn't there because we hadn't created it yet. So let's say you want to send this message to only the people in the Office list. You click on that, and notice in the right-hand side, upper right-hand corner, it says that you're going to send this message to the Office list. All right, and if you don't want to do that, you can change it and go back to a different list. And again, the same rules apply about when you can send this message, when it goes out, the emergency box, everything like that is the same. Also, the message length is limited, regardless of when you send a community broadcast, to 160 characters. Oh, now let's talk about the text library. Now, this is a feature that lets you send community broadcasts faster and easier, and lets you send them bilingually. So to see where the text library is located, we're going to go to Community Broadcast to Residents again. We're going to click on Manage Text Message Library. And when we do that, you'll see three options: exit, or create a new message, or view the message list. Let's view the message list, and you'll see your account comes with a preset list of messages for your community to use, for you to use to send to residents. What we did was, a couple of years ago, we surveyed all of the messages that our clients have sent out to their residents and found these were the most commonly sent messages. And so we created English and Spanish versions of it. We actually hired an emergency manager who's fluent in various dialects of Spanish to make sure that these are going to be easily understood by everyone who gets them. Well, let's take an example of the water out message. We click on water out, and you'll see that there's an English version at the top, and at the bottom there's a Spanish version. Now you could edit these and resave them if you want to make them perhaps more specific for your community. They come generic, so that gives you the chance to change them. However, a note of caution: if you do edit the Spanish version, you have to do that. We don't automatically do that for you. You have to do it manually. And you have to make sure that there are no special characters, no accent marks, no tildes, etc. Now, even as a person of Hispanic descent, I know that it's not correct grammar to leave those things out. However, if you include them, the messages will come across garbled, and that's not the intent. So, while we work on fixing this problem, you're going to need to remember that if you want to put Spanish characters, or if you want to translate the English version to Spanish, you have to remove the special characters. All right, let's say you want to create a new message to go into the list. Click on Create New Message. And let's say we want to create the message called Rent Due. All right, we're going to make this in English, and we're going to just simply type, "The rent is due, please pay in the office," and create new message. And that message is now created and stored into your library. If you wanted to translate that and make a Spanish version of it, you would go back into the list of messages, find this rent due message, and go ahead and edit the Spanish version. Now, to send a community broadcast to the text library, click on Community Broadcast to Residents, and this time you're going to choose the library instead of typing it in. So we click on Choose Library, and it then will fill in with the library message that you select. So depending on which one you pick, it will automatically put that in there, and then you can send it out. If the message is formatted as bilingual message, then it will go in English to everyone who is checked off as English in the system, and it will go in Spanish to everyone who's checked off in Spanish. Now let's talk about putting the app on your phone. To do this, you will look for a text message that you probably received to get the app. You received it during training, or if you didn't, you can call our customer service and we can send you a new message. Click on the link that comes with the message to begin the download process. Remember that when we launch your community, all the residents with smartphones will receive this. They don't need to get the app to get the text and the phone calls. They can if they want to, but they don't need to. You need to, though, as the on-site manager, because you need to be able to send the messages using the app. We showed you earlier in an earlier video how to use the account to send messages, but you'll find that using it on the app is a lot faster. Once you click on that link, your phone will start to download by showing you a video at the top. You can watch that video if you want. It pretty much has the same things that I'm talking about here. Or underneath the video, you have a 6-character code. It's all capitals, and you need to capture that. And then begin downloading based on your phone type. Once the app is installed, you want to enter that 6-character code that you captured before and click on Register Access and accept the terms. Once you do that, the app will appear on your phone. You'll see a map at the top with a series of green bars. There's a slider at the top that will change the opacity of the radar information, the weather information that's on the screen. And you can click on this little X there on the box to remove it if you want to move around. This is a fully functioning weather app. You can take your 2 fingers and pinch it to zoom in and zoom out and move around the country. You can see current weather information, get a forecast, etc. But what you're going to primarily use this for is the community broadcast. Click on Community Broadcast, and just as we showed you when you log into your account, you can send a message by typing it in manually, or you can select from the text library and send it. Again, the same character limit applies of 160 characters. Also, if you send it between 8 and 8, it will go out immediately. If you need to send it immediately, click on the emergency message. Next, you want to receive a test call. Click on Test Call at the bottom of the app and request a test call. Now, when the phone rings, you don't necessarily have to answer it, but what I do want you to do is I want you to save the phone number as HazardCall. We use an 866 number to send the weather alerts when they are life-threatening. And unfortunately, in this country, since 2015, we don't answer phone calls that begin with 866 because we think they're robocalls. We want you to make sure that you answer our call when you do get it so that you don't mistake it for a robocall. We also have this graphic available on our resources page, so you can download that. You can include it in newsletters, you can post it in your office or wherever to remind residents that they need to save this number so that they answer the call. If it's 2 in the morning and they get an 866 call, it's coming from us, letting them know that there's dangerous weather moving in. They want to be able to respond. Now we'll review some real-time examples of some of the messages that we will send you as the weather situation escalates. One of the great things about HazardCall is that we are keeping track of the weather 24/7, and if a threat is not at you right now, but it could be coming to you, we'll let you know about that. And when we do that, we'll send you a text and an email if your email is in the system. When you get the text, please make sure you click on the link because it will open up to reveal more information, a map, and further details. Same thing happens if perhaps a watch is issued in your area. Now, we're not going to call you for either this one or the case before. We're just going to send you a text message, and this will, again, give you some more information when you click on the link. If, however, you are in a dangerous weather warning, your phone will ring along with receiving a text message and an email. Click on that link because it will show you live animating radar of where the threat is and what's going on, as well as the complete warning from the National Weather Service. Finally, I want to give you a reminder about the proper use of the community broadcast. We know that you won't violate this, but I'm contractually obligated to remind you that you can use it to let people know about things going on in the community. That's the example on the left. On the right, while you can remind people that the rent is due, you cannot include a payment link because that violates the terms and conditions of this service. And finally, a reminder that you can see this and other videos on our website, hazardcall.com/resources. Go there, and you'll be able to see these videos, other videos, as well as some of the things that you can download, like the opt-out form and the Save Our Number and some other forms and information that you may need for your account. Well, I want to thank you again for taking the time to watch this HazardCall onboard training. And if you have further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me by email or phone call. Thank you.